Apple AirPods have free engraving so that someone is less likely to buy your used case. Nobody will want to buy them once the batteries no longer hold a charge. They're destined for the landfill. Who wants to buy your crusty used earbuds and put them in their ears? I hope your case is engraved so I don't accidentally use them. I have my email engraved in. Maybe if I lose them someone might get in touch. Does Apple still reject engraved items for buybacks? Apple's biggest competitor is its own resale market, so while this may not be the only reason, it sure doesn't hurt. That's the only reason you can think of? Lol. Maybe if you've engraved your username on that case, gape my anus. Mine just has this emoji, playful face. Seems like a stretch. No, it's so you'll buy them through the Apple Store. Nobody is buying used AirPods. That's gross. Daughter asks her mother for some advice. My boyfriend has asked me to give him a hand job, she says, but I have no idea how to do it. It's pretty easy, her mother replied. Just pretend you're shaking a bottle of sauce. Later that evening, her boyfriend begged her to give him a hand job. No problem, she said. So he unzipped his pants and she takes a firm hold of his cock. About 5 minutes later, he starts yelling, "Take your thumb off the end." You copied a Heinz advert? Why, if the sauce don't come out, you have to use the knife and. Some of us like it a little rough. Moms and daughters talk about hand jobs? Dear God. X200B. Whoa, well. The blood-infused semen would resemble sauce. He's lucky he didn't ask for a blowjob. Mother, just pretend you're shaking a bottle with a twister. The twister. At least she didn't smash his nuts trying to get the sauce out of his dick. If everyone got to see life stats after they died, what would be the most embarrassing thing for you to check in that? Screen time would be depressing to see. I feel like times you made things too awkward or jokes you didn't catch would be up there. Of times you could have got the girl if you just weren't a dumbass. Time spent wanking compared to time spent fucking. Missing the toilet pissing. Also, number of pats given to animals would be a great one to see. Total time I've spent watching porn. Liters alcohol consumed. The difference in muscle mass between my right arm and my left. Pasta overcooked. Crying face. Crying face. The number of times, as a young man, that I was unsure of whether a woman was flirting with me or just being friendly. And how many routes I missed out on because of this. I'm going to open a food truck that sells chicken sandwiches. Park it next to Chick-fil-A and open it only on Sundays. Chick-fil-B. That idea is Pollo Loco. Chick-fil later. Plucky idea. Remember not to put all those eggs in one. Also might be a good peck to make some scratch. You would likely run afoul of the Chick-fil-A management. Wow, a good idea and a punchline. This is a unicorn to this sub. Well done. I have been saying this for years but wanted to put a satanic twist on it and call it El Pollo Diablo. Chick-fil-A. Explicitly stealing business? Your Honor, I am outraged. It's called side chick because the truck opens to the side. Sunday dinner chick. Best side chick ever. What did the Pharaoh say to the hot chick at the? Since Chick-fil-A hired gays, Moms for Liberty, decided to picket and boycott worked so well they're going to do it again next Sunday. Saw this as a meme. Do it. Chick-fil-A. My dad told us, I know you guys hate it, but I'm going to wear Velcro shoes from now on. Velcro shoes are a rip-off. Men are like shoe go through many holes before they tie the knot. Between the two options, it's a tie. Don't think they'll catch on. I step into Keezeeks and Zebas these days. That sticky Velcro can't violate me anymore. Die evil Velcro. That's his decision, and he's sticking to it. My dad bought Velcro shoes about an hour before this joke was posted. Astonished face. Getting Velcro shoes is easy and direct process. No strings attached. Strapped for cash. Wow. Awfully great. I may be getting older and having more difficulty getting around, but I have sworn that there were two things that I will never do out of vanity. I will never wear Velcro shoes and I will never wear pants with an elastic waistband. No more tying him down. On the other hand, why not? I wear shoes with laces, so I don't. No, my wife from Chernobyl used to be an ugly duckling. Are you sure she's not just fishing for compliments? I'm sure she radiates beauty. My wife told me not to buy any underpants on a recent visit to Kyiv. I asked why. She said Chernobyl fallout. This is not your typical nuclear family. She can light her own cigarettes. Now she's hot. She gives a lot of energy. You can't be around her for more than 5 minutes. Now she's a swan. And now she lights up the room. I've seen her. She's a 3.6 out of 10. I used to work at Chernobyl. The canteen did a fantastic leg of cod. Now we have more of a platonic relationship. So this dyslexic walks into a bra. I am still wondering what an exile disc is. Anyone help me. Please give your grandfather a hug from me if he's up for it and tell him I'm sending my best wishes. 3. Also, what do you call a fish wearing a? Did you hear about the dyslexic devil sold his soul to Santa? I read this Women's Lib banner sometime in the 80s, which read, Anti-women's libbers should be put behind bras. I have sex I meant. I have dyslexia. As a dyslexic I don't get it? Thoughtful face. A priest, a rabbi, and a bear walk into a bartender says, "What, is this some kind of joke?" A priest, an imam and a rabbit all walk into a blood bank. The rabbit says, "I think him a typo," and says, "2 cups of your finest please, bra keeper." Dyslexics of the world untie. Till Abraham Lincoln was the tallest U.S. president at 6 feet 4 inches, while James Madison was the shortest at 5 feet 4 inches. James K. Polk's wife Sarah was so concerned he would go unnoticed entering a room because of his slight build she asked the Marine Band to play Hail to the Chief when he entered the room. Still the tradition today. According to Wikipedia, in the 31 presidential elections between 1900 and 2020, 21 of the winning candidates have been taller than their opponents. So Charles Barkley v. Muggsy Bogues. If I recall correctly, Lincoln's height for his time is comparative to someone who's 6 feet 10 inches today. Genuinely a giant. Skinny guys fight till they're burger. James Madison gang rise up. And thanks to rickets, Madison left the White House at an impressive 5 feet 2 inches. Till in the early 1800s, a Norwegian fisherman, when denied alcohol, carried a 371 kilogram stone to block the shop's doorway. He really liked to drink. Idis Hansen was a fisherman, and he liked to drink. That's how stories should begin. I've tried some of the Icelandic lifting stones used as a sort of resume to work a far more fish on ships. I would have gone hungry back then. If I just survived a fishing trip in the 1800s, you'd be damn sure I'd want my 2 liters of alcohol. Mad Lad lived to 95. Lola Norwegian hog. I believe a crew of pissed off fishermen could carry that. Like 6 or 8 dudes following their alcoholic captain's orders. And then you're the asshole liquor store salesman who does not have 5 employees to try and move the fucker, and whatever police magistrate at the time will be like, "Nah dude, that's on you." Most weakest Norwegian. Till, in the movie 300, a Persian emissary is thrown down a well by Leonidas. In reality, Sparta sent 2 volunteers back to Persia to be executed, in atonement for the deaths of the Persians. In Greek culture, emissaries are sacrosanct, protected by the gods. This makes the killing of the Persians' emissaries abhorrent to the Greeks. And since the Spartans were very religious, they were worried that the gods would curse them for their transgressions. Euphocrates wrote an excellent answer on this in our Ask Historians. Who volunteers for that? Also, the rite of passage wasn't hunting and killing a wolf like in the movie, it was most often killing a slave. It's almost like 300 was a movie about a guy telling a story to his troops before battle and was in no way historical except for the location. And the Persian king refused their atonement, sent the messengers back alive, and continued with the war. Till that 61 of U.S. troops killed in Vietnam were under the age of 21. The overall average age was 23. Killed in action have always trended lower. Basically, the older you are, the more likely you are to be promoted to positions that are not in harm's way. I always knew my uncle died in the Vietnam War. It wasn't until I saw his card or whatever that I realized he was only 19 and there for 2 weeks. ETA wish I could have met you, Uncle Gary. I'm sure you were neat. The soldiers and Marines on the ground average 240 days out of the year in a forward operating area, compared to just 40 days in World War II. The fighting was brutal in both wars, but the guys in Vietnam had it worse than anyone. Thought average was 19. Till that canola is actually a contraction of Canadian oil, low acid, raised eyebrow. And that name sounds much nicer than rapeseed oil. I thought for the longest time it was some Italian name for a type of oil that we've adapted. I am Canadian until that too. So saying canola oil is like saying lol out loud. I guess cola was already taken. I learned this when I went on a date with a guy that had a very profound interest in cooking oils, and on our second date he spent a good hour talking about the origin of canola oil. Then we had sex and his dick was the size of a can of Pringles. Great times. That's a portmanteau, not a contraction. Fun fact, my uncle was one of the scientists who developed canola oil. He's still alive, too, in his 90s. Yeah, probably sells better than rapeseed oil. No wonder Canadians are so polite they don't want to be harvested. Till that a German cruise ship sunk a Venezuelan military vessel that tried to ram it. Strength and bulbous bow of the ice-class expedition cruise vessel RCGS Resolute. Bitch, I'm an icebreaker. Fun related fact, the RMS Olympic, nearly identical sister ship to the Titanic, rammed and sank a German U-boat during World War I. Talk about solid dependable German engineering, eh? Turns out ramming into a larger mass isn't such a good idea. Venezuela just keeps fucking taking L's. Apparently, the cruise ship was reinforced with steel plates to help navigating through ice. Venezuelan president was paranoid of the US sending mercenaries into the country. Correction, Venezuelan military vessel sinks itself by ramming into a German cruise ship. Lamau. Incompetent and reckless Venezuelan repeatedly rams a cruise ship, sinks, then says it somehow knows there were mercenaries on board to attack all around. Till that in 2009, hundreds of brightly colored bird specimens were stolen from the Natural History Museum London. It was later found that a student had sold them online to be used for fly fishing lures. Read The Feather Thief. This summary doesn't begin to do justice to how bonkers the story actually is. It was the Natural History Museum of Tring, the piddly little town near my even piddlier little village. It was most certainly not the Natural History Museum of London. People like him is why employers asked for 2 references. I think there's a whole podcast story on this. It's amazing, and there is so much more to this. Wasn't there another case in America of a guy who loved making taxidermied bird specimens and he went on to become a murderer, and his bird collection was valuable enough that it became property of a museum? One criminal stole birds and another provided them. I bet the bird specialists were distraught at seeing such valuable specimens destroyed like this. Tipping culture fuels a strange dynamic where service staff feel frustrated with customers for not paying enough, while owners manage to escape scrutiny altogether. Tipping culture was shifted from gratitude to guilty. In NZ, we are vehemently opposed to any importation of tipping culture for this reason. It is the employer's job to pay a fair wage, and that responsibility should not be foisted off on anyone else. I was asked to tip at the airport buying a sandwich. Just no. They can fuck off. You serve me as in wait on me, then sure, 10-15 is coming your way depending on your attitude, and that's always been the case. But I'm not tipping cashiers to literally do their job. Lucky in my country we don't have tipping. It's a dumb idea. Just pay people a decent wage, right? It's their employer's job to pay them. The customers pay for the product and/or the service the establishment provides. What do you call a woman that takes care of owls? I've gotten my kids on this one to kid. Your teacher called and told me you were pretending to be an owl. That joke was foul. I heard Hooters was bought out by Elon Musk. He's removing all the censorship and renaming it to 30. This sure was a hoot. It takes talents to come up with a joke that fucking bad. If I ever meet one to ask, then I'll let you know. Dajo will never apologize. This one makes my head spin. That's a hoot. Women who take care of owls must be really dedicated. It's not an easy job to care for them. I hope nobody pellets you with boo-hoos. Try sneaking up behind them. Hooter tooter? I guess a Hooters girl would, too. A filthy hooer, who? A MILF. Jacinda Ardern. I'm sorry you are sorry. Do another. I'll wait right here. What famous people have side skills so large that they could be famous for that too if they wanted to be? Vanilla Ice was ranked like 6th in the world in jet ski racing. Hugh Laurie, actor House, Blackadder amongst many others, is an accomplished jazz pianist. Steve Martin, actor comedian but also well-known serious banjo player. Terry Crews is actually a really talented artist. He used to do police sketches. They sort of show it in some Brooklyn 99 episodes. Brian May is the world-level guitarist for the band Queen as well as many solo projects. He also has a PhD in astrophysics and is taken seriously as a researcher in interplanetary dust. The PhD is not honorary. His dissertation is titled A Survey of Radial Velocities in the Zodiacal Dust Cloud. He is a visiting researcher at Imperial College. What film made you say, "There is still 50 minutes left"? Pearl-esque. The climactic attack on Pearl Harbor. It's explosive and tragic. So many people getting hurt and killed. And then, the movie slows down. And keeps going. For another hour. In the Criterion classic Freddy Got Fingered, towards the end of the movie, there's a big crowd scene with people holding signs welcoming home the heroes. One of the signs reads, "When the fuck is this movie going to end?" The Sound of Music. They get married and I said that was a nice ending, and my wife says the Nazis haven't arrived. John Wick just would not stop falling down those stairs. What first comes to mind when you see the letter X? It marks the spot. X gonna give it to ya. Solve for those algebraic equations still haunt me. 30. X-Files. X-Men. Close window. Wrong. Solve for. Am I the only willing to admit it? Porn. It's porn. 10. Excision. Xylophone. X-rays. Ecstasy. Mia Goth talking about how she's gonna be a star. Malcolm. X-chromosome. I wish Elon Musk would fuck off. Chemical X. General. Xbox. X-Men. 90s show. Pornography. Kiss. The band X. Good try Elon. It's Twitter. Treasure. Press X to doubt. XXX tennis yawn. XXX tennis yawn. For int X0. X hamster. Close window exit screen. Excision. Rock on gesture. My juicer. XQCL. Generation X. The band X. Straight X edge. What is something your parents ingrained in you that you now realize is ridiculous? That it's normal to have something negative to say about everyone you know as soon as you leave any sort of gathering. What will the neighbors think? Rolling eyes face. Always think the worst. It's usually not that bad. I think they thought it was a good message, but it actually made me very scared all the time. If I can't get a hold of someone, I think they are dead or hurt. Or if someone is having bad day, I always think it's something I did wrong. I am trying to change, trying to look at things differently. Don't ever ask for help. As an adult, I watched the end of my cousin Vinny and realized how that had been holding me back. The only people that sleep during the day are firefighters and prostitutes, and you are neither of those. I still can't sleep nap during the day. Lol. That I'll quickly succumb to illness if I go outside with wet hair. What was the first major news story you remember as a kid? The Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. OJ trial. The first attack on the World Trade Center in 1993. Either that or the disastrous siege of the Branch Davidian cult compound in Waco, Texas. They both happened roughly around the same time. Psyov. Moon landing. I remember watching Princess Diana's funeral. I was about 6, I think. 9/11. Bay of Pigs. I remember asking my dad, "Why is mom crying?" It was because John Lennon got shot. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Probably the fall of the Berlin Wall. Iranian hostage crisis. Shuttle explosion. Baby Jessica. When you die, it turns out God exists. What's the first thing you say to him? Do you occasionally interact with Satan, or what are my score and stats on the ancestor leaderboard? What the actual fuck, dude? Why's my G-spot in my ass? I think I'm in the wrong place. Did you watch My Dogs for Me? Do something. Why my sister? What's with the whole childhood cancer thing? You dick. I'd recite Stephen Fry. How dare you? I'm gonna gaslight him into letting me into heaven. No, I was not perfect, but tried my best. Your spokespeople are real dicks. Should have better screening. I might have bought into your message. You have a lot of explaining to do. Thanks for taking my 10-month-old baby girl. Hope it was fun for you. Might add a swear word anywhere in between. Which person in history has been masturbated to the most? Considered the competition. Anyone who has been a porn star for the last 20 years is peaking in an era where there are just so many other. The internet took over the culture. What were people using to masturbate? Magazines and movies. Pamela Anderson has been in Playboy many times, has an actual sex tape, did nude scenes in movies and appeared scantily clad on TV. And she was doing so in an era when there wasn't so much nudity available. I bet she is high on the list. That chick getting out of the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I don't know, but I'm sure it's a Bollywood actress. Pamela even kidding. 3 times a day, daily, through the 90s. And that's just me. Whoever the girl was in the lingerie catalog in the 90s when I was a numbers would put the world to where days I couldn't walk. You can't legally eat psychedelic mushrooms because they are bad for your health, but you can legally eat ones that will kill you. Who told you they were bad for your health? In Brazil it's illegal to attempt to fail. It will cost for the health care. Important distinction. It's illegal to own drugs. It's not illegal to consume or to have consumed illicit substances. It's why you can arrest tweakers or opioid zombies. The illegal part is the possession, distribution, and sale. Psychedelic mushrooms because they are bad for your that why? Is this widely believed anymore? Is it because they're bad for your health or because they don't want anyone to have a bad trip and run into traffic? Could you provide some examples of legal mushrooms that can kill you? That's not why they are illegal. Cannabis and psychedelics are Schedule I substances, more restricted than heroin. It isn't about your health, it's about preventing the spread of novel ideas.